Good morning, gorgeous. It's great to see you here on what is my midsummer day. So, whether you're in the longest night in the shortest day or the other end, or you're in the tropics and you don't care, solstice greetings to you. It's lovely to be here with you. And I just realised I didn't turn the light on, so I hope you can still see these rocks. It's pretty grey outside. Oh, I think the light's all right. This is pretty awesome. It's got a little label. This is chrome diopside from Naimba in Zambia. It's one that belongs to my friend Jenny Paolo. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Heather. And everybody's going to say it looks like a Christmas tree, and maybe that's why I chose it, but it's very groovy. And the back doesn't have any chrome diopside on it. I don't actually know what the chrome diopside grows on, but there you go. And also this bottom has not been cut. This is a natural termination because you can see there are crystals growing on it. See, they stick out. So nobody chopped it off to make it so it would stand up. This is actually what it looked like when it was found. Presumably, and now I'm hypothesizing, presumably there was a cavity in rock, probably like this, and there was some kind of, butt end of a rock here, and a cavity, and this liquid flowed into the cavity and precipitated over time, and these crystals precipitated out at the top. It's lovely. So there you are. It's the closest thing to a Christmas tree you're going to see in our house, because we don't really do Christmas. However, I have to say this Christmas is a lot more like Christmas for me than many Christmases have been, so it's lovely to share it with you. Even though it's entirely un-Christmassy. What do you know? Something else that's white and sparkly is this. This is simple, plain, white quartz. But I really love it because, look at this. It's so beautifully aligned with itself. And it's one of the first crystals I bought, actually. Not the first, but one of them. And it's lovely and shiny and sparkly. It was back in the days when I had yet to fall in love with fugly crystals. This one is truly beautiful. It's got wax on the bottom, which someday I'll clean off because I made a little wax stand for it when I wanted it to stand up perfectly. But, I'm past that. Good morning, Linda. It's lovely to see you. It's great to see you live. Yeah, I'm past needing the crystals to be all perfect. They're just like me, What you see is what you get. Take us as you find us. More quartz. And this one is a bit of a favourite. It really is. It's just a white day today. This is milk quartz. And you can see with the light on this, it's got all these little shapes on it. Nora, honey, it's great to see you. So it's a bit like pineapple quartz, but it's not because they're not sticking out. But every single one of the points has got these sparklies on it. It's very beautiful, and it fits in your hand really nicely. This one has been cut on the bottom, you can see. Must have had something sort of big and bulky that they decided to cut off when it was mined. But I'm really fond of it. And it just sits in your hand, It's like you want to cuddle it. So there you go. Let me assure you it is quite pokey. So it's not as cuddly as it looks, but it's really lovely to share with you. So those are our rocks today. Let me find somewhere sensible to put it. Okay. So today I want to talk about breaking through deadlocks. And I have good reason to talk about this. Hi, Abigail! Because I know what it's like to feel deadlocked. And this live was really sparked by a message that I received from a lovely friend at the end of last week, Friday, 5 lifetimes ago, feels like it. And she bought herself a new tool to help, with calming down. Hi, Julia, great to see you. And she said, well, I hope it works. Hi, Jen. And I thought, hang on a minute. And I wrote this. And we all do this, by the way. My thought was, hang on a minute. It's just a tool. It's not the solution. It's the tool. And if your brain is accustomed to being incoherent and you want to experience the relief of coherence, which is actually what everybody wants, okay? One way or another, when we feel good, some aspect of ourselves has come into coherence. I'm not going to explain that anymore. I explained it enough other days. But believe me, that's what we want. We want coherence because it feels good. And so, we sort of learn that if I feel bad, there must be something outside of me that can help me feel better. When in fact, we use things like that to give ourselves an excuse to change how we feel. And if you always think that you need something outside of you to change how you feel inside you, well, you're always kind of beholden to whatever that thing is. And if it doesn't work, well, you're stuffed. You've got to go and get the next thing, right? And we get into this endless treadmill cycle of looking for the next thing. And if you're like me, Kay, it's lovely to see you. Good day to everybody who's here, whether I know who you are or not. Depends if you, I don't know, whether you do a comment or hit the love or something. I don't know what it is that makes Facebook tell me who you are. Yeah, comment helps. But anyway, it's lovely to see you. We just get into this, not just, I've got to find the next thing, but we try harder and harder and harder. Sandy, it's great to see you. We just keep trying. We keep banging our head against the brick wall. And you think, oh, well, I got a bruise and it bled a bit, but now I'm going to try harder. And oh man, I split my head open, but I still got to try harder. And this is the thing that, from reading Dr. Joe Dispenza's first book, which has got so much neuroscience in it. I love it because it's filling in all these gaps for me. Vasco, it's gorgeous to see you. That this is the thing we do when we're in survival. And by in survival, and I'm going to be really brief about it, means you're feeling angry or sad or desperate or shamed or anxious or fearful or depressed or any of those negative emotions. They're attached with being in a state of survival. That's all I'm going to say about that. And when we are in the state of survival, we're running on stress hormones, because those survival feelings mean that stress hormones get triggered to cascade and run in the body. That's just science. That's fact, okay? And when you're in survival, when those hormones are there, they change the function of your brain. The thinking part of your brain, all the blood flow is directed away from your frontal lobe. And the frontal lobe is the part of the brain that restrains you, that stops you from saying the things that you regret later. That it's the executive, it's the thinking, the reasoning, the working it out, the problem solving. The blood flow gets directed away from that part of your brain when you're in stress. It goes to the animal brain. It goes to the emotional brain. You lash out, you run, you fight, you freeze, whatever it is. When you're in those things, you're much more an animal than a conscious human being. And in that state, thinking about the antelope running away from the cheetah, all you're going to do is what you've done before, but harder and faster and more. Because I ran away last time and I survived. Well, I got to run away this time. I got to run away harder and faster because the cheetah's faster than the lion, right? That's what survival does to us. But it keeps you in this thing. You're just doing the same thing. So if you're looking for a tool or a thing or a person or a therapy or a whatever to get you out of your fix, and I mean by your fix, your jam, your thing that you just can't change. And for me, it was money. And I say was, because I don't feel like that anymore, even though I've still, my three-dimensional world hasn't changed much. It's changed a bit, which is nice, but not the massive way that I'd like it to. And that's okay, because I feel abundant now. I didn't before. And if I'd had the resources that I know will come to me, but I hadn't changed my lackful state of being, I'd still feel lackful and scared like it was going to run out. It's not to do with the thing outside. We think it is. So we get locked into this thing of thinking, I need something to happen outside of me so I can feel differently. And what we don't realize is whatever those things are that we try to use to help ourselves, it is just a tool. And fundamentally, if you have a lack mentality like me, whatever tool you use, you're going to come up against that lack mentality. And I could spend a long time telling you all the stories. It was the same me that was using the tool. So I had to overcome myself, right? And the overcoming myself, and now, I do rave about the tools that I'm using now because they work, because of the science in them, but I still have to use them. And when I use them, I'm going somewhere new. Now, what's a good example of that which is recent, which makes sense, which isn't so freaking esoteric that it's kind of stupid? Something that I have been very conscious of creating and that's coming in for me is allowing myself to feel a sense of family and community. And some of you will have figured this out about me, and some of you are like, what? Feeling isolated and disconnected has been a really powerful theme through my life. And it's nobody's fault. It was actually, I think, an assessment and a perception and a judgment that I made of this world before I was even born. That's my truth about it. Whatever, who cares? And I've been alone, surrounded by people, my entire life. But what's interesting now that I'm actually becoming really intentional about changing that, and I say now, I mean, I don't know how long it's been. It's weeks and months. This is not happening instantly. This is a very deep thing for me. And it's kind of been surfacing like something out of the murk, and every now and then another little piece comes up and I deal with it. Layers, onions, whatever. That every time I open my heart more to the idea of family and connection with people, connection with the divine, easy, I can do that. That's home. Connection with humans, being here, being part of community. Oh no, that's really unfamiliar for me. Yeah, I know that's weird. Just deal with it, okay? This is my truth. You don't have to agree with it. This is just how it feels and is for me. So it feels really weird and dangerous and scary and unfamiliar to imagine myself feeling like I belong. And the more I've been getting to know the me that feels like I belong, the more uncomfortable it's been at times, because the more I make a choice to inhabit that space, the more everything that's in me that isn't like that comes up and screams blue bloody murder at me. And at the same time as I'm climbing the walls inside my own skin, I'm also grateful because when that resistance comes up, now I can deal with it. It's never, oh my God, what the hell am I going to do with this? It's just, oh God, can I make it until I get to go to the field and deal with this shit now? I remember watching myself last night thinking, I am seriously incoherent. There was just so much bubbling. I did not sleep well. I had to do some work just to get to sleep, and then I woke up, probably after 4, maybe 5 hours, I haven't worked it out, and that was it. And I was lying in bed working with my energy and with my centers, and just could not go to sleep, and that's really unusual for me. And I don't buy that it's because of the solstice energy. It's because of the level of what was coming up in me, going somewhere new in myself. The tools are not the magic thing. It's me realizing that I've got to go somewhere new. If I want to become financially abundant, and I've been in lack my entire life, well, I have to start thinking and behaving and feeling like an abundant person. Do you know how weird and wrong that feels? I do. I'm getting better at it. But it sure as hell wasn't easy for the first 3 years. However long it was, I'm making it up, but it's unfamiliar. It's not me. I haven't had a problem with severe anxiety. I've actually had low-level anxiety that I didn't even recognize. I just thought it was normal. Now what happens is, because my baseline has dropped, and by that I mean I'm not at that kind of hypervigilance all the time, what I notice is my body saying, I am an anxiety addict. I'm going to chuck thoughts up to your brain to try and trigger this old reaction. And I'm going to do it over and over and over and over and over again because I am an addict to stress hormones and I want my fix. And I didn't say yes. I observed it yesterday morning in my meditation. And I was more than half of the way through and I was quite deep and I was doing good stuff. And boom, there's this thought, oh, get upset about this, Maddie. It's like, Is that the best you can do, body? Really? I was almost laughing at my body doing this. It's like, come on. You think I'm going to go there? And my body always surrenders in the end. But the body fights us because it's trying to keep us safe. What is known is familiar. It's safe. Even if you hate it, the body knows what to do with it. So the body is just doing it the way you've programmed it to do it. It thinks, because this is normal, that we've got to keep normal. The autonomic nervous system, its job is to keep homeostasis, to keep everything the same. But if your body is accustomed to fear, well, that's what it's going to try to do and encourage you to stay there with, random shit that just flies into your head when you're thinking, okay, I'm going to open my focus and let go of my hypervigilance for a few minutes. It's like, no. So that's the dance. And we have to go somewhere new. And, many of us get stuck in this thing of looking for the next tool, the next therapy, the next person, the next whatever it is, that pill, the red pill that can get you out of the matrix. But you are the red pill. And getting out of the matrix doesn't often happen just like that. Neo took the pill and he got out of the matrix, but then he had to learn. Didn't he have to completely unlearn himself? Is that, the Matrix is a story, right? Science fiction. It's a freaking documentary. Talk about going from one life to another. He had to forget about his limits. Everybody fails the jump program the first time. Yeah, because we're so programmed about gravity, right? But this is what we're doing. And you have to keep overcoming and overcoming and overcoming. And the key thing for me that allows me to overcome myself now is this work that I do, which allows me to get my brain out of crawling up the walls mode, crawling out of my own skin, thoughts screaming inside my head. And it happens because I'm going new places and my body wants to stay in the old. I know what to do with that now. I know, and last night it just didn't happen because there was so much boiling up. And I found out, when I sat down to do my meditation this morning, I almost thought I should probably just get up and meditate now. I got a feeling I'm never going to get to sleep, and I didn't. But I kind of did a meditation lying in bed, Don't have to sit up and do it. I'm going to do it lying down. I was not going to sleep, I tell you. It's just so much resistance. It allows me to take control of my own brain and thereby fire different thoughts and have different feelings and calm it all down and send a different signal and program day by day, choice by choice, my body to have a different experience and embody a different mind. And it's powerful. And, I'm kind of interested to see how I am today because I'm really short on sleep, but I'm now thoroughly coherent. I always am in the morning. I'll probably have a nap during the day, during the middle of, lunchtime. And I can feel all this energy in my body because something really profound moved this morning. It's too much to try to explain it. Sorry, can't tell you. But I know now that when everything rises up inside me and screams at me, it's because it's there for me to overcome it, and I know I can. Because I've developed the skill in myself to do that. And that's the thing. If you want to create a breakthrough, if you want to break a deadlock, forget the deadlock. Forget the problem. Focus on who you are when you've overcome it. And whatever you have to do, practice being that person and realize your body and your brain are going to fight you because you're going somewhere new and they think it's dangerous. That's it. And what happens over a period of time, and I'm speaking from experience, is that you start to trust it because you get those synchronicities. We talked about that last week. When you're starting to really line yourself up with your purpose and the universe will always endorse who you're being, the more you line up with it and what you desire, more things are going to come to you that match that and endorse it and make it happen. And you start to trust it. You realize there's a flow. And even when everything appears to be going wrong, you know it's serving you. And I didn't really know that before, but I do know that now. It's visceral. I can't actually lose that even when I'm climbing the walls. It's a truth for me. I can live by it. And so that process of overcoming me and using whatever tools for me work for me to overcome me, that is the way to get through that thing that has defeated you for 30 years. Speaking from experience. That's it. Anything outside of you is just a tool. If it works, use it. If it doesn't, go somewhere new. Don't keep banging your head against the same brick wall thinking that somehow that's going to work. Because it's not. It won't. I did that. I launched the Telesummit business in the industry in 2014. It failed. It flopped. I tried a few more times, which is fine because I'm very persistent. And then I tried really hard with the emailing and the blogging and that was just such a lot of work. And then I was really desperate. I was desperate, right? Note to self, you're ever desperate, you're in survival. You're going to make bad decisions. And I signed up with a company that was going to do Google AdWords for me. I was desperate. They did a time-dependent thing. They made me make a rapid decision because I was desperate. I did it. If I had done any research or if I had said, fuck you, you're pushing me, I just didn't have it in me to tell them to piss off. I would have found that they were shysters. I would have found that the amount of money they were telling me to spend, which was a lot to me, was not enough to make any difference at all. And I would have realised they were just wanting to rip me off. It was a complete waste of time, got nothing out of it. I cancelled the contract. That cost me $1,000, but it saved me a few, I made a really bad decision because I was in survival. Banging my head against a brick wall. Refusing, unable, because I was in animal mode, to realise this isn't going to work. And after that experience, I drew the line in the sand. Paid them the money to get out of their stinking contract. Walked away, and just said, I'm not doing any of this anymore. I'm not doing anything until it resonates for me. And I waited for 6 months and then I met my mentor and, for 18 months later I connected with Joe's work and the rest is history. So you have to be courageous enough to stop banging your head against the brick wall and thinking that somehow your blood's going to dissolve the mortar. It doesn't work. Believe me, I've tried. We all have to get there, by the way. We all have to get to the point of saying, I've got to stop this. Enough. That was just me, I got so desperate that I made a bad enough decision that it hurt enough to drive me into a different behaviour. And I went into the void. And now, of course, the unknown has become a little bit easier for me to tolerate because I trust myself more and I trust what I can't see more. So that's what I wanted to talk about. If you're in deadlock, stop doing what you know. It's not got you anywhere now, so it's not going to get you anywhere tomorrow. Do something different. And if it doesn't work, do something else that's different. Get very clear on what you do want. Don't chase it, but get very clear. And follow the scent of light. Follow your feeling about what to do next. So, that's what I wanted to share today. Solstice blessings to you wherever you are. You are your own greatest truth, your own liberator, your own answer. Big love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.